Welcome to Women Lead, a production of the Women of Color Empowerment Institute, Inc. We are your hosts. I'm Kathy Eggleston.
I'm Michelle Austin-Pammies.
And I'm Bernadette Norris-Weeks.
Our show today is all about stepping into life, figuring out how to actually take the steps to live out your dreams, and sometimes that means taking the road less traveled.
During this year's Women of Color Empowerment Conference, we had the opportunity to sit down with one of our main speakers, a true Renaissance woman who discussed her perspective and her journey towards living out her dreams. Ms. Vera Moore grew up poor in New York City, but managed to parlay her love of singing into a career on Broadway and into a continuing role in the first Black family on a national television soap opera, Another World. And she did that for many years. She even went on to host her own show, The Vera Moore Show.
But she did not stop there. At a time when there were no makeup companies catering to women of color, particularly African American women in film and television, Vera Moore founded her own makeup company, making her own products. This sparked her entrepreneurial bug, and she founded Vera Moore Cosmetics, one of the first 100% African American owned cosmetic companies and a very much thriving company still today.
Well, I am so excited to get into this topic, stepping into life. I think that so many people have wonderful professional careers, but it's not their passion. It's not what really sparks what they feel they were meant to do in life.
This topic comes at a really great time because I'm hearing from some of our members even who are saying that maybe they've changed a job or they've left a business or something different. They're having these life changes and they're trying to figure out how do they step into life again. And so when we have speakers like Vera Moore and we have an opportunity to show that you can do so many different things with your life, it's exciting. It gives people hope.
I tell you, and this is a particular woman, right? She didn't just choose a career to excel in. It's like the world was her oyster. The world was wide open. So she started out, she's working professionally. She was a secretary, but she knew she loved singing. Then she moves on. She goes into theater. And then she becomes a soap opera star. And finally, she's also making cosmetics, and she's gotten to the point where it's a national company.
And don't forget about Green Acres Mall. She's the first Black woman.
That's right. Imagine that, the first Black woman or the first Black person to have a retail store in Green Acres Mall on Long Island.
Right.
Pretty
in New York.
Significant.
Yes.
She had a lot of firsts, but she just has the energy or the drive that gets you there. So we'll hear from her and learn a lot.
Yeah, and she went for her dreams, but she had a plan. And what I love about her story is the incrementalism of it, frankly. She starts out as a secretary. She could have had a fine administrative or executive career, but little by little, on the side hustle, she was working her passion, and confident and committed in who she was and who she ultimately was going to be.
She is truly inspirational. So come right back with us and join us for a talk with Vera Moore. It's a riveting interview. We'll be right back after these messages.
This is James.
Jimmy! Mom, Dad, this is James. Jimmy!
James? James Harrison from Roosevelt High?
Jimmy! Yeah! Oh! You good, Jimmy?
The 2021 Toyota RAV4.
Jimmy!
The RAV for all of you. Right now, lease a new 2021 Toyota RAV4 LE for just $249 a month for 36 months. Toyota. Let's go places.
At the Women of Color Empowerment Institute, our mission is to enhance and expand leadership by women of color. We do this in a variety of different ways, including but not limited to providing mentorship opportunities for young professionals where we assist in helping to create paths to leadership. We empower women to develop capacities for social change. We produce programs that promote heritage awareness, and we provide training opportunities for business and government. Our institute holds seminars focused on professional success techniques, and we host many other events such as our popular Advocates for Change and Leaders Connect. The Women of Color Empowerment Institute publishes a magazine called Women Lead. Our signature event is the Women of Color Empowerment Conference. a yearly conference where hundreds of leaders gather from all across the United States and beyond. To learn more about membership and how you can support our programs or be a sponsor of the Women Lead TV, visit us at nationalwomenofcolor.com. Again, that's nationalwomenofcolor.com.
The law office of Austin, Pammies, Norris, Weeks, Powell is a full-service law firm practicing in the area of governmental law, including the representation of municipalities, civil litigation, personal injury, real estate, and corporate transactional matters. With over 100 years of collective experience, our attorneys are admitted to practice before state courts, federal courts, and the United States Supreme Court. We are conveniently located in downtown Fort Lauderdale and can be reached at 954-768-9770. Or for more information about the law firm of Austin, Pammies, Norris, Weeks, Powell, visit our website at apnwlaw.com. That's apnwlaw.com.
Welcome back to Women Lead. Our show today is Stepping into Life. Now here's our conversation taped earlier with Ms. Vera Moore. We are here with our guest, a true Renaissance woman, Ms. Vera Moore. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having. I am so ecstatic to be. I'm really happy.
All right, we're happy to have you. All right, so Vera, tell us a little bit about the beginning of your story.
All right. Well, I grew up in a family of 7, 5 brothers and 1 sister, and we grew up in a religious background. I'll use that word, but you know, my mother and father. My mother was the mother of the church. My father was a deacon, and I always used to sing. I loved to sing. I was in Sunday school. I would sing, and then in the choir I would sing. So that was my desire to sing. And my mother said, "Now look, we can't do both lessons because I know you like to dance too. Make a choice, fork in the road." I took singing, and that's what I did. And I had my first opportunity to do something professional. And I spoke to my mother about it. You know, we were a poor family. It was, you know, my mother was a domestic worker. My father was a porter. But I grew up knowing I could. You know, we hear now, yes, you can, you're more than enough, value stuff, and that's all good. But I knew that from the beginning. This is a little girl with a hole in her shoe. And I purposely took a commercial course. Always thinking, always got a plan. Stenography. I took Pittman. And shorthand and typing because I could get a job.
I remember shorthand.
Remember, that's a long time ago.
Sure.
I'm dating myself shorthand.
But it did give you a nice little bump in salary.
It gave me a huge bump, and I interviewed. I always say audition theater. I interviewed for it. The federal government would come around to the high schools for the seniors. Who wants to take this test to get a job? And I always just said, I do it. That was just me. I was just never afraid to do it, you know? So I took the test and I got it. I worked for the federal government for 5 years, had a plan. I wanted to work because I wanted to quit the job and go into theater. You know, I got an agent and I went to California for a year and did the Leslie Uggam show for a year.
Oh.
Yes, Leslie.
Yes.
And then I came back and did Broadway with Melba Moore, the Tony Award-winning show called Pearly Victorious for 3 years.
I remember.
Mm-hmm.
I still remember.
And then I traveled with Kathleen Battle, the opera singer. Kathleen! Yeah, Kathleen Battle. We did Treemonisha together at Kennedy Center.
Wow.
Her voice is just...
Who gets to do that?
Oh, my God.
Kathleen Battle. Oh,
her voice, incredible. Oh, just perfect. So after that, I did a soap opera. Sorry. Okay.
No, I just want to say.
Why?
So you did a soap opera. That's what I wanted
many
to...
soap operas.
Tell us about the soap opera.
Okay. Well, the first soap opera I did, and I tell people about, no matter what you're doing, be all in it. I was called an extra. Now, for those that don't know, an extra means you don't do anything. You sit there in a restaurant. They need 20 people to come to the restaurant, So you just sit in the restaurant. But see, my acting classes told me when they say pick up that cup of tea, it's hot. You just don't pick it up. You pick it up right because it's hot. You might burn your tongue. You know, there's sensory exercise. So I did my homework. I took acting lessons for 15 years. So I was always in the scene as though I was a principal, even though I was in the back. Then the extra led to under 5. Under 5 is a big deal because they're gonna you have lines. You're gonna get paid, but it's under 5 lines.
okay.
So I did that, and then I got a part. Then I got my big part. I was contracted by NBC, national television, for the first black family on NBC, And I was the character Linda Metcalf on Another World.
Okay, drop the mic.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was
World.
Another World soap opera. Yeah, I was very, very excited. I was nervous. But I was ready. You got to be ready, and I was hungry for it.
How long?
I was in Another World for 11 years.
That's a long time.
That's a long time as a family. Mickey Grant, who wrote Don't Bother Me, I Can't Cope for Broadway, was my sister. Rosetta Lenoir passed away, and she was my mother. And it was a middle income family, and they had some little conflict. I was dating this guy, He was a cop, and I was a nurse, and but it was fun. But you had a lot of challenges with that. Being the first year, there were many challenges. But I didn't let anything deter me.
Now that leads me to another great story.
Yeah.
Many challenges. Makeup, I would assume, would be one of those things, and trying to find makeup that actually blends with skin tones for women of color. Tell us about that.
Well, I didn't even realize that until I went on Another World. Because in theater, it's bigger than life. You can put stage makeup. But when you're on soap opera, you're right in the living room. And, we were the first black family on NBC Channel 4. So it's about inclusion. There was no diversity or inclusion. So they did the best they could with what they had, which was insufficient. I mean, in the wardrobe, they fix you up, the hair department, put some on your head. But what do they do when you're a woman, a black woman? I'm going to say a black woman right now. It was hard. And since I was a nurse, my character was a nurse with a white uniform, I didn't want that makeup rubbing all over my clothes. Now, I'm not here to knock any other line, but most of us was wearing the makeup that was red, greasy, oily, and rubbed off all your clothes. Now, I'm under hot lights. This is a major studio. I pick up the phone. I say, "Good morning, Dr. Matthews' office. May I help you?" No, I'm serious. It's serious. And it was on my clothes. Rubbed off. And that was when the thought said, "Look, we got to do something about this." So that was the seed, And I said, this could work. And then when I had the opportunity to go into Green Acres Mall, which is a major mall in New York City. They had never had a black tenant in the history of Green Acres Mall. I integrated that mall.
How did that opportunity come to you? Or did you go to
I have to say, I don't wait for things to come to me. You'll be waiting forever. Green Acres was renovating the mall. They were putting a second floor on the mall. And they were renovating the first floor. And I said to my mother and my husband, I said, you know what? I'm going to see if I can go get in that mall. Now, my husband's just the best husband. I got the best husband in the world. They broke the mold. I'm just loving. My mother said, well, try and get it. Now, a lot of my friends said, now there are no black people in that mall. How are you going to get in that mall? I said, well, somebody has to be the trailblazer. It's a risk. This is a major thing that I did. I mortgaged my home to get in the mall. Because it wasn't later on in my career. It was the beginning. You have to take advantage of the opportunity, the door. So I said, you know what, honey, we're going to do it. You want to do this? I'm behind you. They promised me the first floor, but at the end of 3 years, oh, Vera, management has changed, and we're gonna revisit this maybe next year. Now, I knew what that meant. We're not revisiting this. I said, well, there's nothing less but the food court. You want to go up in the food court? They thought I was going to say no. I said, let me see the food court. Went up to a food court, major stores in the food court. They showed me the bathroom of a big store, because they were renovating now, finishing up. Bathroom was 10 by 10. It was just God, because my store was going to be 10 by 10. Anyway, I said, I'll take the bathroom. Oh. Yes, I did. We mirrored that bathroom. It was gorgeous. Mirrored everything. Just mirrored everything. I would have gone on the roof, ladies.
Because
you integrate that mall. I had to integrate the mall. I had a mission. I had a purpose. I was going to integrate. It was all over the news with Melba Tolliver, big news. It was Newsday, the biggest paper on Long Island, because no one had been. They'd never had. First of all, they never had little vendors. They had major stores. They didn't have little small businesses in that mall. And I had a kiosk, and I wanted a kiosk. I always wanted to go for it. I didn't want a cart. Now, this is very important, because a cart, you can move. Not that it's cheap. Cart's not cheap either. I didn't want to come in the mall, and one day I'm over here, and one day I'm over here. I said, no, I want to build a kiosk. That has to be built. That's why I had to borrow the money.
I would like to know, though, so during those 10 years, were you operating the store, or were you acting and somebody else was operating? How was it going?
No, during those 10 years, I was in that store every single day. Now, let me tell you, I didn't stay all day. I would come in that store. Hello, how are you? Nice to see you. Thank you so much. Vera, is this your store? Are you kidding me? No, it's my store. So I stayed there 10 years. And then I went downstairs to the first floor, renegotiated our contract.
Finally.
Finally, the first floor, 15 years on the first floor. I was in Green Acres Mall 25 years.
Wow.
And I'll tell you another thing. Always have a business plan. I didn't have one. I was just, winging it. But you can't wing it. You want to thrive, you don't wing. You got to have a plan. And then it took time. I learned. I did a lot of traveling, which I should have done. I should have stayed there and honed it there. But yes, we did well because no one ever serviced you like I serviced you. And I told you years in 1979, 80 that you were beautiful. I didn't say you had to be white, blonde, and blue eyes to be beautiful. I said you were beautiful. I always told you that. And it made you feel good. I wanted to empower you.
And it was true.
Yes, it was. But if you don't believe it.
Because you haven't heard it.
Exactly. So there you go.
Because you haven't even been used to having makeup that suits you and your skin color.
And now that they don't want to, not now. They didn't want to wait on you. You know what I mean? You have a black lady come in a dark hue. They don't want to. Listen, I'm telling you, no. So, and what was good at that particular time when we were downstairs on the first floor, they would say, and at that time was Gimbals. They'd say, go down there. That girl down there, Vera, she has makeup for you. Some of them apologized that they didn't have it. It wasn't on them. It was the corporations, how they perceived. They never perceived us as beautiful or valuable or could spend, but they didn't know that we buy it. We can't afford it. We buy it.
Now it's $1 billion.
So
I'm
asking because I see that you are the Renaissance woman. You're going across a lot of different careers here. So was it the singing you love? Is it entrepreneurship? Is it acting? Where are you within that?
Well, I think I'm a little of all of it. It's all entrepreneurship. Many actresses and actors go into business, but they're still performing. Patrick just opened up a line in Sag Harbor in the Hamptons, but she's an actress. So you don't have to be one thing.
I love that.
Mm-hmm. Well, you don't. You don't have to be one thing. It's revenue, different streams of revenue. But I enjoy singing. I enjoy theater. You can tell that, can't you? And I love entrepreneurship because I want people to know that they can. I am really trying to leave a legacy to tell these little girls. You know what I used to do when girls would come in the mall? I'm sorry, I'm going on a ride.
No,
this is
we
important.
like it. Yeah, we love it.
Children used to come in Green Acres Mall, and I'm, Miss Moore, do you think, I'm not filling up this application. Button up that blouse. Ooh. Well, they know me for that.
Right.
I'm not going to hire you. And they loved me, but I told them the truth. Maybe they didn't hear that at home. I don't know. Not everybody was blessed and fortunate as I was to have such a wonderful mother and father and a sister. And I tell the guys, you need to pull up your pants. They're not going to hire you at Sears to work this summer as a summer job, and you're walking around like that. Then they come, wow, you look good. And I used to buy those girls and boys shirts. You don't have a shirt, I'll buy you a shirt. Just here, go get yourself a shirt at Sears.
You were a mentor.
Yes, mentor, sponsor, and let's fill out this application now. Because I wanted them to get employment during the summer. They're not going to train your kids. People don't understand that. Competition is key. I'm talking about in the 80s, but still then, our kids, no one told them. Well, I don't know who told them. Maybe they didn't listen. But I was there, and I felt good about it. Even when I went to prison. Now, let me clarify that. I didn't go to prison. I went to prison to do workshops.
Okay. I was going to say, well, that opens a whole new
Let's
talk about that.
But it's still mentorship. It's still helping people.
That's right.
And they never showed them film, and we did so well with it, but they didn't want to expose the young ladies that were in prison. This was specifically for ladies that were getting out in 6 months. And I went and talked to them and told them, let me tell you something. We'll make it very clear. The difference between you and me, you got caught. You have to, you know what I'm saying? You got to find your audience. I meant that from my heart. And what made me, it was so rewarding. A lady came by, I don't remember her, and she said, came by Green Acres, you don't remember me, do you? I didn't really remember. I said, well, I meet so many people. You came to see me in Rikers Island. Oh, my God. You came to see me in Rikers Island. Wow. She was one of the, So there's so much that we can give and give back and how we can, and I enjoy that.
So how have you managed to meet these different opportunities wherever they may be and not be afraid of challenges? I know you said you've always wanted to be an actress, but you've done so many other things. you've been an entrepreneur. You start this whole makeup line that has now gone. It's a national
Yes, it
line.
is.
Vera Moore Cosmetics.
Yes,
Let me
it is.
shout you out.
Yeah.
Right?
Thank you.
And nice, beautiful products. I think I'm wearing your lipstick.
I think you are too. I'm looking at it.
Right? Yeah. So, how were you not afraid to do these different things?
Well, I guess it was my mom and my dad, and I wanted to do better. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to get out of where I was, and it took work, and I was always taught you have to educate yourself, and I did the best I could. Even college, I didn't go to college, but I went to school at night. I went to Hofstra University for 2 years just for a management course. I mean, I don't have a legitimate 4-year college, you understand what I'm saying? I spoke at Howard University. I don't have any initials behind my name because I tell the story. Don't be afraid. Fear hypnotizes you. Now, someone said about, fear is good.
It's a driver.
Exactly. I mean, some people say, well, I don't have any fear. Maybe they don't. But there's all levels of fear. Anxiety is a fear. Self-esteem, low self-esteem is a fear. You know what I'm saying? So the idea is it doesn't incarcerate you that you can't perform. It's a fuel.
Yes.
Now, talking about fear, Barbra Streisand, everybody knows Barbra Streisand, the fabulous singer. She only does shows once or twice a year, because she's afraid. She says, I don't do these shows because I forget my words. I'm so scared when I see the audience, blah, 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 blah. All sold out. Tickets are $1 million, all sold out. But she's in the recording studio all the time. She doesn't want to. It's fear. But she's found a way to manage that fear. I don't want to be in front of the stage, but I'm going to do these recording studios. So it's the way you handle and manage the fear.
So you mentioned that you were from Corona, Queens.
Yes.
And there were many little girls in Corona, Queens, going to school with you, going to Flushing High School. Do you think that in your environment, there were others as driven as you?
I'm sure there were.
Did you know them?
I knew a few of them because a lot of my friends did go to college. They lived in East Elmhurst. That was the other side. I lived on the other side of the track.
Okay.
I was in Corona, That's okay. Didn't stop me. Look at me now.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? No, I think they did, but I had such encouragement from my mom and my dad. Maybe because they never had anything. Or it was just them. My grandmother was the same way. My mother's mother. You can do it.
Vera, you have obviously through your work of being on screen, first of all, here we are, here I am, and in your business, mentoring so many young people, you have made such an impact on people. When I think about the younger generation today, who are not necessarily aware of what it does for communities when Blacks are entrepreneurs and own businesses. What do you think that generation really needs to know about Black business ownership?
Well, first of all, they have to want it. You can't impose it on them. It's not like a cold. You can't catch it. Entrepreneur, you have to want that. But those that do want it, look at the impact. When you're an entrepreneur, you can give back to your community. It grows your community. It helps the education, the health, everything. You have a mindset of how can I take this to another level? But I have to say that entrepreneurship is not for everyone. If you don't want to sign, it's a process. Everybody wants the promise, but they don't want to do the job. You have to do it, but you have to want it. You have to be thirsty for it, but it can be done. Anyone can be an entrepreneur. And I want to say something else. I didn't go to college, and I had to say this at someplace else I spoke at. College is not for everyone. Some people a little intimidated, they didn't go. My daughter went to Howard University. She went to college. I wish I had gone to college. I didn't get an opportunity to go to college. So it didn't stop me. I took classes at night. Tuck University. I went there for a weekend. First time I ever been in a dorm with that Tuck. I went to Tuck. I was doing a management course, and I said, oh my God, I'm in a dorm. I was so excited. I'd never been in a dorm. But I'm saying, I say that because there were a lot of students that came up to me when I did a speech. I don't want to go to college, but I know I can. They're gifted in other ways. Because sometimes people make them feel intimidated that they didn't go to college. But listen, the sanitation man didn't go to college. He's making more than you. You got a master's. That's all I got to say. I try to find people where they are, encouraging them where they are.
It is interesting about college, though. So not going to college is one thing, not getting trained in any area of expertise is another. I really feel that where we miss the boat, that's where we're not getting trained at all.
Yeah.
And those are opportunities that we need. We
Yeah.
need in our communities for people to know that there are options. There are trades.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking
There
about.
is so much more because not everybody's meant to be
Exactly.
an academic, for example. But yeah, I agree with you 100%. There's a
Well,
lot.
you, like your parachute was knowing stenography.
Yes.
And
Yes, like that.
That was what
And-
took you to that extra level to be
Oh,
able to.
boy.
And you see how I mentioned that it raised your income a little bit?
Yes, it did.
Yes, because I remember when I was starting out and I did secretarial work. I wasn't born a lawyer.
You weren't.
No.
We're not sure about that.
So what happened was when I was doing the secretarial work, I knew the differences. All the different levels of secretarial work, right? You could be at the top of your game in New York City and be an assistant to a CEO because you have all
Those
the skill sets.
Yeah.
Or you can decide to spend your life in the typing pool.
Yeah. See?
Yes.
That's what
It
that was.
happens.
Yeah, it did. And I was excited about it. But I always wanted to sing. But I said, listen, this singing doesn't work out. But I knew it was going to work out. I could be a legal stenographer. I could be a lawyer.
That's right.
Any last words for us, for our audience? Anything you really want to get out?
Well, I think don't be intimidated. What did Eleanor Roosevelt say? Intimidation is only by consent. Yeah. And Maya Angelou, what did she say? That's so important. You know, people may not remember you for what you say or how you look, I think it is. But how did you make them feel?
Yes.
Right. So that's what I want to do. I want them to, like that lady saying, do you remember me? I don't remember the lady. And she said, you came to see me in prison. Woo!
We really appreciate having you.
Thank you so much.
You are so
Lynn.
tremendous, and you represent the very essence of what it means to step into life.
Clearly, this is a Renaissance woman, and maybe we can learn and take some of those lessons and put it into our own lives and step into life like Vera Moore. What do you say, Kathy?
I just want half her energy. Oh my goodness. Now I see how she has done everything she's done.
That's right. Well, you only live once, folks. So with that in mind, until the next time, be empowered.